So we are outside of the works. I guess your version of the comfort zone.
I guess
Toronto.
so. Yeah.
And how's your night gone so far?
Good.
What have you seen?
It's a long night. We're throwing the party here tonight. It's the after party for Armin. We've got flew Noel Sanger in for the event, which works really well because it's kind of a small venue, and he's playing a really funky, kind of breaky but funky prog house sound that's just really blowing up the place right now. It's really cool.
And you had a chance to drop by Blue earlier on.
Yeah, we checked out. I caught the end of Elevation's set. It was we dropped Clear Blue. The place seriously erupted. It was awesome. And then Armin, we caught a good chunk of Armin, and Armin always blows it up in Detroit. It was cool. His manager Mikkel was in town for the first time in Detroit, and I think he was pretty impressed. He seemed pretty stoked. It's fun to watch these guys come in, these international guys come in, and it's Detroit, so you don't know what to expect. It's a smaller market, but Blue is just a beautiful room, and everybody has great reviews leaving Blue. Ferry, Tiesto, Armin, all of them just rave about it. So it's cool to have a room like that with that kind of response from these internationally known and internationally traveling guys that come to Detroit and just think it's such a good time.
Now, big names, they're growing and they're packing clubs anywhere they go to. Is that a commercial trend, do you see? Do you see it coming to the forefront, or is it really still staying a little underground?
Oh, it's funny because we think of it, if we're embedded in the music, we think of Armin as like, he's a superstar. He's Madonna, Tiesto, those guys are like freaking huge, they're the top of the barrel, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still underground, it's still kind of underground. I think in the people that are into it, it's like an underground network. It's not like isn't on the radio. It isn't promoted on MTV, and there really isn't even any grassroots promotion in America as far as I've seen for this kind of music. But there is a huge following. How many bands are going to pull 900 people on a Thursday night? Even big pop bands, a lot of them aren't going to pull 900 people on a Thursday night. So in that sense, it is really huge. But there isn't that commercial machine behind it in America, So it's definitely an interesting situation when you think about it. But it could be, electronic music could be the next kind of pop music. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it goes, especially in America, over the next 5-10 years.
Now, in your opinion, is that a good thing that it's staying underground, or?
There's good and bad. It's definitely good because there's more money in it. Like more artists can make a living and do it longer. It's sad when you've got a really amazing producer, a really amazing DJ who just can't do it anymore. It's not even about making millions. It's just about paying the bills. And a lot of guys have had to drop out and just kind of really tone back, and you don't get the more money that something is in, the more people can experiment with it, and the more they can flourish and kind of become what it wants to be. On the other hand, then it becomes commercial, and it becomes, corporate, and it becomes, it gets watered down. So there's two sides, There's been that big argument over the years about, people selling out. A lot of people said BT sold out. He's kind of everyone uses that example, and especially when he produced, was In Sync. I think he produced an In Sync track, and everyone knocked him hardcore for selling out. And I never thought he sold out. He just was doing his job, doing what he does. He was producing music. It's not like he changed his sound. If you listen to that BT song, it's not different. It's like you can instantly, even if nobody told you, you can be like, dude, this is BT. Like it's produced by him because it's his sound. He didn't change his sound. He just produced for somebody else. That's not selling out. That's expanding your art. That's doing your thing. So if you change your sound because you're making more money and you can make more money because you've changed your sound, then that's I don't respect that, and that's that is selling out. But if you're just taking your sound and your inspiration, your art to a bigger crowd, that's just doing your thing. That's what we do. That's why we DJ. That's why we give tracks away. That's why I produce a track and I don't just play it by myself. I give it to people and send it out and give it to labels. I'm not. The biggest thing with signing tracks to labels is not so I can make money, because trust me, there's not a ton of money to be made right now with signing tracks. I just get stoked that like something I made is getting shared with a lot of people. When I see big DJs are playing my stuff, it's like, dude, that's awesome. Other people are hearing this stuff that I came up with and that I was feeling in my house. I'm sitting there some night or some day, I'm just on my keyboard making something, and all of a sudden it's rocking 5,000 people out in Europe. That's unbelievable. That's what it's all about to me.
Now, where you're at, are you still full-time, part-time in this? And how much struggles have you gone through? Have you had to sell your decks at one time to make rent or whatnot?
It's come close. I'll tell you what, it has come close. I've never had to sell my decks. I know I've sold vinyl on eBay. Not really my vinyl that I cherish, but I know I've there was a summer where, I had my weekly residencies, and just to make extra money, I would actually buy used records that I knew were rare on the worldwide scale, but were, I could find in Detroit, because, there's not many people snapping up rare trance records in Detroit. So I'd find stuff in used bins, and I'd buy it for $3, and I know it's going online for 30 or 40, So I used to do that quite a bit, but it's hit or miss, I'm still doing this full time. It's there's good months and there's bad months. There's months where finances are working out, and there's months where it's a little bit dry, and you just keep plugging along. I personally haven't hit a wall. Like, if I hit a wall where it's like, okay, it's not growing anymore, and I haven't made steps into the direction I want to go in. If I look back and I say, okay, where I was at 3 months ago and where I'm at now, I haven't gone anywhere, then I will seriously consider looking around. Okay, where is this going to next? But as long as it's moving forward, and things are growing and things are happening, I'm going to continue with it and see how far this strange trip is going to take me.
Now let's take a look at the city behind us and compare it to when you crossed the border in Toronto. How would you compare the two cities?
They're totally different. 100%. From size to culture to crowd to demographics of what kind of people are there. Detroit is a very small city. It's a very well-known city. It used to be a huge city, but it's shrinking, and it's really downsizing. Detroit is not about Detroit in the city. Most of the people that were at Armin tonight, I would probably say 5% of them live inside Detroit. 95% of them live in the suburbs. That's where everyone lives. So, in Toronto, though, you've got, just millions of people live in Toronto. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm sure it's a couple million. In Detroit we have like 900,000. It's just, it's definitely, Toronto is more of an international city. Detroit's more of kind of a blue collar, just doing its thing. It's hard to explain. Detroit's kind of just a dirty, in a good way, like a dirty city. It's good. It's gritty. That's a good word. Gritty. It's a gritty city. Toronto's more, international and kind of exciting and, flashy, I guess.
Tell me a little about the guy that opened up tonight for Armin.
Elevation. Yes. He's a little music prodigy. Had his first funny story about Elevation is he when Clear Blue, his big track with Marcus Schultz, was signed and put out. He was 16, and it was already like a #1 hit on like the Dutch dance charts. And he had never been to a club before. Never even stepped into a nightclub. Never seen a live DJ. And he's got like, Sean Etienne and a #1 record, and it's Marcus Schultz's biggest hit, pretty much, his collaboration with him. And it's funny, he had never been to a club. So me and him met. We started talking, and we're feeling each other out, and we decided to work together and whatnot. And it just so happened like a week later, Armin was in Detroit for the first time, and I was opening that show, and I said, dude, come on out. You're on this freaking label. Come on out. You got to be there. So his first show ever was standing next to Armin, 3 feet away, for his whole show in Detroit. And like, how many people get to experience that? And he was 17 at the time. How many 17-year-olds get to go to their first show, already be a hit producer, and stand in the booth with somebody like Armin during his set? It was cool to watch him. He had a grin from ear to ear. He was still kind of shy then, and so he didn't really talk much. He just grinned. It was cool.
There you go. And what new can we expect from you in the next little while?
Well, I'm in the studio like 24/7. I've got 2 tracks coming out on Cold Harbor in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm still getting Marcus a lot of stuff, and he seems to be pretty excited about some of the stuff I'm doing, which is great to have somebody like Marcus behind Marcus Schultz is behind your tunes. I've got some proggy stuff that, as a DJ, I play everything from like prog, like deep prog and house and straight up house, to trance and almost epic trance, and I can work that all into one set over the course of 2-3 hours. So I produce a lot of different stuff, and I've got some stuff, that Nick Warren and Steve Lawler have been supporting, and then I've got stuff that Marcus Schultz and Paul Oakfold are supporting. So it's very diverse, and I'm trying to experiment with a lot of different sounds in the studio. I'm trying to find my own sound, but I'm also experimenting with, house, prog house, trance, epic, breaks, everything, and just trying to find my niche, And there's music is so good. I don't want to be pigeonholed into one sound. So that, as far as production, I'm just really feeling out any direction I'm led, and hopefully just DJing. You know, I love DJing. That's my number one love. I love DJing and playing out and sharing music with people, and you know, I'm a fan of the music. You know, my thoughts as a DJ is I'm an extension of the crowd. The only difference between me and the crowd is I get to choose the next record. But I mean, I dance just as much as anybody in the crowd when I'm playing. You know, I mean, so. I wanted to keep DJing, keep playing out, keep sharing the music, seeing people smile and dance on the floor, and just do my thing. So hopefully I'll continue, you know, reaching across America, come into a city near you, and hopefully beyond. You know, hopefully get overseas in the next year. You know, that'd be great. So.
And my final question is, I already know the answer to this one, but we're just set it up anyways. Would you rather be blind or deaf?
Deaf. No, I mean blind. No, blind. Blind. I'd rather be blind. Yeah, I guess. That's hard, man. You know what? I think you could probably function better if you were deaf. But dude, if you can't hear music, man,
that's just it.
That's like, I don't know, man. That's life. That's blood. That's food. That's spiritual food. Music, you know. That'd be tough, man. Don't teach me like that. Don't teach me like that. That's tough. That's too tough, man.